Alright, hello everybody. Welcome to a low-key stream. Not really sure how long this one's gonna go. I just got off work, and I legit forgot what day it is today. It's Thursday. My brain is kind of like all mushed together here, but hello. We are here to talk about the new Atlus countdown. And we are counting down to... Oh, hello there. I love how... Oh, it actually is currently going through something. I think. That's really funny. So, we might have to change this to browser source or go full screen. That's really funny. It had like nothing forever ago. It was just a countdown. So, Atlus, if you are not aware, has just announced a new Soul Hackers something. If you go to soulhackers.jp, well, soul-hackers.jp, you will be welcomed to... Oh, okay, so this is just a recap of yesterday's stream. I was like, are they really doing another one? I didn't think they were supposed to do that. And then I will pray that there's a way to get rid of this screen. That's really weird. It's like... What, does it just make you watch this? That's really odd. Yeah, there's this giant countdown thing to gather information. Answer me on Twitter. I'm gonna hope that means it gets rid of you. Wow, that's like really bad website design. There's like no way to get rid of this. Huh. That's really odd. But yeah, so Atlus has, in all of their wisdom, decided... Atlus has decided the countdown to the countdown has begun, and we are currently hacking our way into a new Soul Hackers something. So I decided I wanted to kind of talk about it, talk about my thoughts, and just kind of go on out here. If you all have questions, it's just me here. We're just jamming to the Soul Hackers soundtrack, so please give me your questions if you've got them. Give me your theories if you got them. What do you want to see? What do you not want to see? Shout out to Red, Dimmy Crow, Joseph P, Cross Ren Ren, 909, Game Deity, all of you for being in here. Really appreciate it. Especially with zero prep, which is extra cool, because that just means you are all even more super dedicated. So, Soul Hackers. Give a little bit of history. Soul Hackers is... Again, like, if you go back to my channel where I did the tier list, is one of my favorite SMTs of all time. It has a very, very big spot in my heart. I'm a big fan of it. And seeing anything done with it again is a really big deal to me. Just something about this doesn't feel right in my gut. In terms of, this is something I should get excited about, you know? I don't know if this was because it was done in the middle of the night, if this is just a random countdown site. It's very odd. So, I'm not really sure what to think, but at the same time, this is kind of the point of doing the podcast, so it's like, well, what else are you going to do, you know? So, the whole ordeal is just really, really odd, and having it be a countdown, boy, let me just tell you, the fact that it just keeps doing this, really dumb. Like, here, we'll like remake the site. We'll like open it up again. It's so odd why it would just only show that for when you're there, but that's fine. So basically, this countdown site appears. We have almost nothing really known about it. So the Twitter account is at soulhackers_alt. It is official. Atlus West tweeted about it, as well as Atlus in Japan. And there was basically just a thing being like, hey, we are gathering information. Watch this live stream, answer some questions, and we'll show you some screenshots. Which then is like, okay, cool. but then it's also like, yeah, so the actual countdown site you cannot watch as a countdown site. What a... Chat, please let me know if I'm missing something, but I've checked on mobile and my computer. There is no way to just watch the countdown. You have to just have that video there. This is very, very odd. So, obviously, let's get the elephant out of the room. I think it's a mobile game. This does not seem to me like... This is not how you announce a big new Shin Megami Tensei project. At the same time, though, it's so weird of like, why do another mobile game? DX2 is still clearly a thing, but I mean, that's never stopped other companies from having multiple games. So then it's like, okay, is this a collaboration event with DX2? That kind of makes some sense, but also Atlus West doesn't ever share things for DX2, so that's just kind of odd. Oh, weird. The countdown page on mine did something odd. So, the things I want, I guess we should start with it being optimistic. I would love a remaster, a re-release. If this was something that was like, hey, this is just us bringing the 3DS version, which I think they could easily do to all systems, I think that'd be pretty cool. But then why, like, I guess the countdown is just weird. the countdown's weird of, like, maybe it's tied it, but like they're not. So okay, there's a couple of things that people actually haven't talked about this, which I find very interesting. Notice there's nothing tied to Shin Megami Tensei in name. This is specifically Soul Hackers. This isn't Devil Summoner. This isn't SMT. This is just Soul Hackers, which makes me think that they're trying to kind of spin this off into its own thing, and that almost gives me vibes of like, no one really calls DX2 SMT. It's obviously derived from SMT, but that's not really something that's kind of tied into it with it. So the marketing's weird. The whole thing about it being questioned, it's clearly something like, at least there is a multiplayer component being hinted at, if not a live service component, due to the fact of like, we're answering questions. We're saying, hey, the end of the world is nigh. Like, something is coming. Help me, like, save the world, blah, blah, blah. So, game-wise stuff, it's like, yeah, like, it's got themes of Soul Hackers there, but, again, not very optimistic. It's just so odd, because you're also doing this in the month, like, we're smack dab in the middle of any day now we could expect a Persona announcement. This is cool, but then it's like, okay, so I guess also I should say, if you're not aware of this, the countdown is ending on the 21st. So we'll know this very, very quickly by next week. And another reason I'm doing this to kind of talk about it and like get my thoughts out there as well as talk to all of you about it. Number one, next week's podcast is literally just all going to be about Monarch, and there's no real point in talking about what's this going to be when literally by the time the episode goes up on free feeds, we'll now know what the answer is. But let's see. Yeah, like, so everybody live in chat, first off, again, thank you all so much for coming live and chatting. Throw some things out there. What do you think first? Is this a game? Yes or no? And if you do think it is a game, what kind of game do you think it is? Because I'm also very much in the weird camp of like, I'm horrified that this is just going to be some collaborative project. This could be something, honestly, like, I think best case scenario, if this isn't a game, the only thing that I would be kind of okay with, a Soul Hackers anime wouldn't really, like, be timely, but it's like, I mean, I guess you're lining up with an anniversary for SMT. But the way they've teased it with like the very low resolution models, again, just goes back to the whole phone thing. If it is not a phone game, or at least a free-to-play game, obviously you can be on phones and still be a game, I think not being gacha would be a good plus, but then also it's hard to make money on paid phone games. Like, they're not just going to throw the 3DS version on phones and call it a day for $20. Like, Atlus just doesn't do that anymore. Hence why they got rid of their ports for SMT 1, 2, and IF. The 3DS version of Soul Hackers, interestingly enough, I think is one of the interesting few 3DS games they could port to other systems in HD pretty cheaply, and also have a chance of it making money if they only charged like 15-20 bucks for it. Then that also goes to think of why are you teasing it like this and not more of a kind of like it's so nebulous in that way of like, I'm glad they didn't tease it super far out in advance, but this is not something I'm thinking of every day. This is literally like one of those things of like, well, I guess maybe it's this, or I guess maybe it's that. It's not taking up a lot of real estate in my brain. So, oh, and I just realized I never shared this to Facebook. I had it queued up and never actually posted it. So yeah, it's the whole thing is so strange. I don't personally get it. I think it's interesting they're at least tying this in and like having an English component to it the whole time. Like that's kind of like rare for Atlus, but at the very least it's also not anything like crazy. I'm trying to mess around with the website in inspect mode because I would love to just have this countdown clock here, but it just wants to show this stupid live stream from 8 in the morning that just showed off a bunch of questions. So here, let's let the live stream finish and then go from there. A little summary of the live stream outside of it just showing questions and whatnot. It did show a couple of interesting things. It showed a map, it showed some characters, it showed a pizza, it showed one of the summoning guns, and then ended on the countdown timer and date of February 21st at 8 o'clock Japan time. So whatever that is in your country's space. But yeah, and it just repeats the video. Wow, it just loops the video over the thing. It's like, hey, we're hacking the countdown, which is hilariously obnoxious. Now, the next hack will actually be on February 18th, which is going to be only in a couple hours at this point, Japan time. So the hack is coming up soon for the next one, but these are not things I would recommend staying up for, if I'm being honest. These are just going to be really cryptic, showing off super quick screen blurbs. Twitter will show it to you, but like I'm someone who like I feel like this should be tailor-made for me, but this is not this isn't like until they kind of like even if they like just threw on like platforms, I might be more excited. But because it is so nebulous still, I'm like, why would I show up and answer random Twitter questions to just see screen grabs as opposed to just kind of getting some sleep? So it's very odd. I wish I was more excited. Now, like anybody in chat, I should throw this in there. Who here actually like is staying up and watching these? I'll put a poll in. Because I am curious if anyone is actually watching those like little 30-minute questionnaires live. Are you watching the Soul Hackers live streams? And then we'll jump into some questions because I've already rambled for like 15 minutes here, being confused at why the hell the countdown site doesn't let you watch the countdown site. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Atlus. You're such a great company to play games for, but you're very confusing in terms of equal amounts of hypeness. I will say, I would like to imagine at this point they know, but then it's also like, watch this is also just another company's making this, because it's like, even if this is a phone game, much like DX2, it's not like it's going to be someone like there's no internal team in Atlus who's going to be doing this. Like this to me screams this is an Atlus property that no one at Atlus proper in Japan is actually working on. I'd love to be wrong, but it's like there's no one who's really like bolstering this of being like I'm the driving force. I kind of go back to like the Monarch announcement. Monarch, before it was even announced, we knew who was working on it. We knew that team. But this is just kind of like, boy, I hope you're nostalgic for Soul Hackers, while showing the gun. Like, that's it. The only real thing that we know that this is Soul Hackers is the gun, and that's pretty much it. Tie into some of it more. Like, give it, like, maybe on the next stream, like, if they showed characters from Devil Summoner or Soul Hackers, I think that would be a cool way to tie into it. But again, this isn't selling itself as a Shin Megami Tensei. This is selling itself as Soul Hackers, the Soul Hackers. Like, that's pretty much it. I probably just sound like super like not interested in this, but it's not even from a like I'm not excited about it kind of way. It's just in a I'm sad, I wish I was more interested in this. But like I was talking about this with someone recently, this is just not a great month to try and half-ass get people's attention because there's so much going on. Like, we're living in a world where we have Elden Ring out next week. Horizon is out tomorrow. There's Monarch, if you're a big weeb like me. King of Fighters, if you're playing fighting games. There's a bajillion other games coming out in March. Like, we're living in a really crowded time for people's, not only attention, but just, like, interest in everything. And it's like, yeah, like, why should I stay up and watch this live stream at 6 in the morning when I could just be playing something else or could be doing whatever? And it's like you kind of have to like you have to drum up the hype. You can't just expect people are going to come groveling when they see the Soul Hackers logo without any other kind of encouragement or anything like that. So chat, I will stop ignoring you. If you got questions for me, you want to ask me about this or anything else kind of related, or if you have thoughts on this, let me know. Because we're just going to probably do another like 13 minutes or so here. Give a quick like 30-minute live stream rant and go here. So let's check out the chat. Thank you again to everybody watching this live. The Game Daily says, in the February Persona Times... Oh, is this the February Persona Times or a standalone announcement? So Game Daily... Game Deity, this is separate. This is not Persona related. This is just its own thing. So this has nothing to do with the Persona announcement. Again, yeah, you're right. Totally weird that they would announce this now. 909 Crime, Soul Hackers Gotcha NFT. I'm horrified that, honestly, I would not be amazed if this is just Atlus's really weird attempt of getting into, like, the metaverse and NFTs and crypto. Because literally Soul Hackers, on the title screen when playing it, has a giant crypto chip with a K. So it's like, hey, if you wanted to get into it and didn't want to burn down any of your actual major franchises, that might be why Shin Megami Tensei isn't tied to this. Because if they just burn the Soul Hackers bridge, what are they losing out on? The 3DS one sold like absolute crap, so it's not like they're gonna really lose anything. And that's like, hey, we'll see if this can do anything. So also, if it is any of that like metaverse stuff or like NFTs or things like that, you will see such an outrage. Like. It's it'll be messy, and boy, I sure hope that is wrong. Cross Renren says, I mean, I've played only 2 hours of Soul Hackers, but I've seen the old opening a million times. Yeah, I cannot recommend enough. The openings are fantastic. Both of them, actually. Red Meridian says, I think it's a mobile game a la DX2, so it really will be good, but not popular. Yeah, that's also true. Like, even if it's, like, is a mobile game, the amount of people who are just not going to try it because that just turns off a large amount of people is, like, undescribable. Game Deity says, The World Ends With You did the same thing, and it was a mobile port. It was a mobile port? There was a World Ends With You mobile port? Yeah, I forgot. The first one actually was a pretty solid mobile port, but that was like a port of a real game at least. 909 says maybe it's not a big one, but a little one. Mobile hackers could be fun. Yeah, like there are fun premises you could do, but not like none of those in my head would be worthy of making a countdown site. Like, are you making an AR hacking minigame app on your phone? Cool. But, like, no one's really going to be that interested in it. Are you doing a, like, again, just goes back to crossovers, mobile games, like, all the safe bets that this probably is are all things that people are going to be either turned off by or forget within a week. Let's see. 909 again says Paradigm or / Metaverse maybe. I'm trying to get into the art museum for real. Robert says the art museum is going to get turned into an NFT gallery, which would be, again, sadly real, because there are ways to work NFTs and blockchains into games, and if you really wanted to think of a way that Atlus is kind of related to that, you could be really cynical and miss the point and play Soul Hackers, I guess, and then go, let's use Soul Hackers to bring that hot SEO from 20 plus years ago. Robert said Atlus was ahead of the time back then with that. That is true. Jamie the Panda sequel. I'll say this. If it's a full-on sequel, I don't care if it looks worse than a PlayStation 1 demake. I will be all in. This could be the least production value sequel of all time. I will eat my words. I will say, F this, I'm going to jump in and give them hope. If they are greenlighting a sequel, I don't believe that. I would love a sequel. I would love a remake. I would even take a remaster or a port. It doesn't make sense, though, just because of how niche this sub-series is for it. God, I hope that is it, though. It'd be so cool. Cross Renderin says no to is it a game. Red Meridian said it's a game, mobile port of the 3DS game, or sequel on mobile. Oh, God, if it's a sequel only on mobile, that will actively, I'll, lose brain cells from that. That'll be really, really bad. GameG80 says, yeah, highly doubtful that it would turn into a show or movie. 909, yeah, the 3DS game is pretty simple, all things considered. Once again, yeah, if you're curious about the website, it is soul-hackers.jp. But the countdown is blocked by a giant video ad that you can't turn off because website design. Istidin says, if I happen to be awake, I might tune in. Otherwise, I'm not watching these live streams. Robert says, it's gotta be gotcha. Just look at the back of Six's jacket. That would actually be pretty funny. Crypto, gotcha. It all writes itself with this one. Cross Renderin says, I don't think that it's going to be a port because that would be very underwhelming to have a big countdown. To be fair, making a single tweet during the day in the website so far doesn't really scream big or production value, but I do know what you mean. It's kind of weird gauging size of projects when it is something from Atlus. Game Deity says, oh yeah, the A World Ends With You thing again. Cross Ren, if I'm not missing any here. Oop, gotta catch up to these. Alright, here we go. Cherry Papa Ninja, yeah, so the countdown ends on the 21st, so we'll know literally within less than 4 days at this point, so it's really, really soon, but I would be surprised if the hype builds up over the weekend. I think we are probably more likely to forget it and then Monday go, oh yeah, that thing's coming up soon. Let's see. Fox Ari says, good evening, everyone. I hope you are all doing well. Fox, thank you so much for popping in. I am doing better now that I'm off work, but ready to sit in front of my TV and just play some Pokemon, because I don't have any immediate reviews I need to take care of right away, and I just kind of need to chill out and catch Pokemon and Legends, because that's pretty fun. Cherry Poppin says, I really hope it's a remake of Soul Hackers or a new take on it. Soul Hackers has been my favorite SMT title other than Devil Survivor 1 and 2. Once again proving, Cherry Poppin, you have very good taste in SMT games. Red Meridian says, my backlog is stacked and I'm pretty sure I'm playing Legends Arceus exclusively for at least another month. Oh god, yeah, that game seems so big. Isten says, I hope it is a whole new game personally. I think we all do. If this was a full, real, big old boy game, what a weird way to tease it, but I would be very much here for it. Weird timing is definitely for sure. Kuga Gal says, I'll probably watch it, but I have insomnia, so I'll be up no matter what. Jagingus says, guess I'll have to start Soul Hackers sometime soon. What if, you know what's sad, because I was thinking about this, I haven't thought about Soul Hackers this much in a long time, consistently. If this ends up just being a terrible, terrible announcement, I might still just end up replaying it again on my 3DS, because, I guess I'll play something good Soul Hackers if it's, something, really underwhelming and bad. JNC says Soul Hackers is so much fun. I could not agree with you more. Fox says, I've heard of Soul Hackers here and there, and I am intrigued about it. I am intrigued about it by it overall. By the way, the quick little sell for Soul Hackers, if you're not aware of, think like Blade Runner-esque kind of future-setting Tokyo with SMT themes, lots of really memorable, interesting cast and characters. Really fun story. Godlike music. It's what the music for this entire live stream has been. Really, really fun. The art style is great. Really fun designs. Really great worlds and puzzles. It's a really fun game. Like, if it wasn't for the fact that it's horrifyingly expensive physically, I'd be like, everybody go buy it. But hey, I guess tying into Nintendo news, you can still download it on the eShop for like dirt cheap. Let's see. Game Deity once again saying, I feel like Atlus is reposting the old Persona openings as teasing a old game coming to modern hardware. When you get that concept being noticed, that is going to get overlooked. I would kind of agree with you if it wasn't for the fact that literally Atlus hasn't really like said this per se, but like through conversations I've had, them posting that is honestly them just being like, we have to do something for the 25th anniversary. Let's just upload some old opening videos. Just to be nostalgic. It's not teasing anything. Obviously, like, games will eventually kind of come out and may even be part of the collection, but I would say when it comes to Atlus West doing stuff, never look into it. They almost never tease anything in terms of actual games in production, just because all of that has to be handled by Japan, and the West has no control over it all. Which is, again, why it's really funny. Like, if you ever ask Atlus West for, like, bring blah 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 to blah blah blah, they probably already know that you want that there, and either have tried or just aren't able to, because as much as I love Atlus West, they have no control over any of the major decisions by Atlus Japan. They are the ones calling all the shots. Let's see. Karate Kenny says maybe they'll bring Paradigm X to the metaverse. Not that those two their things are terribly different, anyways. Yeah, again, it's like if all it is just like their take on like metaverse things for it, but it tied around Soul Hackers, I'm just like already rubbing my temples of like, why, God? I mean, I know why, but please don't. JNC says, I hope Megaton isn't tarnished by NFTs. I will be literally so disappointed. Considering I keep seeing ads for one of my favorite people of all time, Larry David, doing NFT ads, anything's possible, unfortunately. Let's see. Is Soul Hackers 2 on the 3DS or PS3? So Crossrunner and Soul Hackers 2 is not real, sadly. Although technically Soul Hackers is kind of a sequel to Devil Summoner, but it's more of a continuation in the world, not really like directly tied at all. So you can kind of think of Soul Hackers as Devil Summoner too. Let's see here. JNC also saying more fun Soul Hackers sequels that don't exist. 909 says, I can see the countdown. 3 days, 22 hours, and 30 minutes. I will refresh this website, and it is still showing me a giant... Oh, hold on. It's refreshing. Okay. Letting it load. The tree got a little bit bigger. Okay, now I'm allowed to look at the countdown again. Alright, everybody. Live it up. Here you go. That's what you're supposed to be looking at this whole time. My God, yeah. So there we go. We got the countdown back. I don't know why they would hack to show a stream of... it's so weird. Atlas, this whole thing is so weird. Thank you for the notice, 909. Let's see anything we're missing. Saberson, He-Ho, and DDU. Jamie the Panda says, glad I grabbed most of the SMT 3DS games last time they were all on sale. Yes, that was a nice thing to see those things go on sale. Gaia Rage says, I hope it's either a brand new game or a port of the 3DS version of Soul Hackers or the PSP version of Devil Summoner. God, that's so sad we never got that, but I mean, like, it made sense. That was... If you thought Soul Hackers sold badly, that Saturn port of Devil Summoner 1 would have sold even worse on a PSP, but we were close. There was a chance we were going to get it, but we missed out on it. I'm one of those weirdos that, honestly, I would take that Devil Summoner PSP port over probably SMT If myself. J. Arthur says SMT Cyberpunk, but better. You know, that's really why they were announcing it. They're like, oh dang, Cyberpunk's in the news. We better get in on there. Let's see, more talking about Soul Hackers here. I think we're almost all caught up. Incident says, the concept of Soul Hackers is really cool, but I personally hated the game. Awful combat in dungeons, especially the monolith and bad boss fights. Not that good of an OST either. To each their own. I definitely understand that a lot of those older games are not to everybody's likings. Crossrunner saying, I wish I could play Soul Hackers, but I really don't feel like playing SMT games where I gotta talk to demons, aka all of them. So I'm waiting to play Record Breaker because I loved Overclock. Jack Frost says, hype for a new Soul Hackers mobile game. I'm just gonna enter my own little sad emoji there. Clear your cache. That was the reason why. Clear my cache. I don't know why that would have changed anything. But the cache... Actually, I was using OBS, which had no cache every time like, I restarted it. So that's even weirder. Oh, now you're just being mean, JNC. What if Soul Hackers Strikers developed by Koei Tecmo? I would unironically fuck with that really hard. If there was a Koei Tecmo Soul Hackers game that would thematically make absolutely no sense at all, but I would be so here for it. The tree is glowing bigger and bigger. Glowing. Well, it's glowing and growing, Ian. That is true. It did actually just, I think, get like a new little second sprout of stuff going on. The tree is interesting. I'm wondering, like, is the tree symbolizing a tree, or is it actually maybe flowers? Is it, like, symbolizing, like, the tree of life? There's a lot of stuff it could be for it, but again, this is just something we have so little to go off of. JNC, I don't know why, but I would love to buy it. Because Koei Tecmo, for as many weird things as they do, unless it's Dynasty Warriors 9 apparently, they make some good stuff. And our last comment before we wrap up, because we pretty much timed this out perfectly, by Mr. Person says, I have some faith that it isn't a mobile game considering that Sega listed it as a title they wanted to remake. But that may be me coping. So, I've seen that popped up a bunch. Oh, it was included in the survey. Or, oh, they listed it for XYZ. They list everything. The surveys and the things they mention are literally meant to be like, yeah, hey, look at these IP we have. Because, like, let's be honest, guys. Atlus doesn't own a lot... Sorry. Atlus owns a lot of IP. Atlus doesn't use a lot of IP. So, that's never really that, like... much of an indicator for me. Like, when you see something like, would you like to see a sequel to Raido Kuzunoha? I'd be like, yeah! That doesn't really mean you're ever going to get anything, sadly. So, just kind of one of those weird things. Demi Crow, this is a cover for Jack Bros Remake. Demi Crow, you didn't need to super chat the $2 to say that, but I appreciate you saying it nonetheless. We're ending on a high note now, so... Everybody, thank you for coming and hearing me ramble about Soul Hackers. How I just want everyone to know, be level-headed about this. Keep your cool. Be more excited about playing Elden Ring. And God, be more excited about Digimon Survive than whatever the heck this is right now, because it's just so nebulous. It's a cover-up for Last Bible 4. Oh, God. Oh, my God. All right, everybody. Well, I got to thank you all for being here and listening to me gab a ghoul for 30-plus minutes at this point. So, thank you all so much for being awesome. Foxy, thank you for popping in here. Ian, 909, Samurai, Cordless, Demicrow, Mr. Pearson, JNC, Game Deity, Jack Frost, Crossrun, J. Arthur, Iston, Saberson, Jag Ingus, Jamie the Panda, Kugagal, Red, Panda, Cherry Poppin', Robert. I love you all so much for being here. I appreciate it. Even you, Joseph P., at the very beginning of the show. Appreciate you all coming on. Appreciate you. Have a good night. Play some fun games. And, yeah. I will see you all next week Remember, Monarch Podcast is recording tomorrow, so get in your questions if you haven't already. That's just through all the socials and everything like that. Normal episodes will return. I'm assuming I'll do an actual, like, live reaction to when the countdown's done. Like, because no matter what it is, at least at that point, it's like, oh, it makes sense or whatever. So we'll do that live next week. So think about it as kind of like you're not getting a normal SMTN podcast, but you'll get like this and then whatever the reveal ends up actually being. So you'll get something out of it. So hopefully you all enjoy. Thank you all so much for coming. Have a good rest of your night. Enjoy your weekends. Live your life. Be awesome. And thanks for watching and being subscribed. Have a good one, everybody. Goodbye.